How's it going, everybody? I am here today to show you the final step in making a wall hanger wire wrap tree, making this particular guy right here. So this is the one that I've been showing you, and for first step I did the actual hoop, the wrap itself. Second step, I did the cutting and measuring of the wire and attaching the root structure. And the third video was branching out and doing all the little separate branches. So this is what we're actually going for. And this is where we left off. So I had a mess of wire because I wanted to show you all the branch work, how I do the branch work before I actually start doing the curls of the canopy. So this is what mine looks like. It is literally a mess of wires everywhere. I've been trying to keep it so it's flat. When you line this up, it should be flat so it can sit up against the wall. If you see any bulges or anything that's popping out, those are the ones that you're going to kind of want to, bend that wire so it's bulged out, so it does have that flat wall side and then the bulgy tree side itself. For this step, this is going to be your tool. This is what you're going to be using for this entire part of this section here, is this tool. This is what gives you the curls on the wire, and it gives you that texture, the leafy looking texture that you squeeze into bundles. And I'm going to show you how to do all that. So first off, we're going to start. This is going to be really tough here, just because of lack of room here. I'm going to move the camera down and I'm going to show you how I actually do this. Okay, so when you're doing these curls, it's important to know that you got to keep these all separated from each other, because you will be tangling them as you go. And it makes it really difficult when they're getting tangled up, especially once you put those curls in. They want to tangle very easily. So you just want to make sure you're keeping all these wire strands straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this strand down here. And when we went and did the wiring, we actually had branched out each little one here. So I'm going to start with, say, this one right here. All right, so I just basically pull one of those little branch works out. I split these wires up. Here I got one of the loose strands of the wire itself. So to get that effect, where it has all the little bundles of curls on the wire itself, I want to start by taking my tool, my little needle nose pliers here, and I just grab the very end, just the very tip of that wire, so it's barely in there. So what I do is I grab that end and I twist my wrist while pulling. I grab this wire and I kind of pull it away from myself, and then I twist away from myself. All right, so I'll get those curled around. So when you let it go, it's going to have this little curl like that. And then I just take the flat ends of these things. I don't know how well you can see that. I take the flat and I just kind of smash it flat. And that kind of keeps things from catching on the end of that wire there. So now when I'm doing these, there's multiple ways that you can go about doing this. There's actually back and forth one, and then there's just the solid curl. And I like to do the solid curl. It goes pretty quickly when you do it that way. So I hold it down low between my fingers like that, and I grab just below that first little twist that I did. All right, so it's just below that, and I'm going to do another twist. And you just want to make sure that when you're twisting, that wire keeps feeding away one direction. All right, so it's going to be twisting outwards, not tangling around each other. All right, so then you got your second curl on there. So you just basically go under each little loop that you have created, you grab it, and you do a good solid twist. And it helps to hold and press your thumb inwards when you're doing that, so it gives you that rounded, full round look to it. You're going to basically be pulling it and feeding it through as you curl. So I just grab under each little curl, I give it a good solid twist. I go under the curl, give it a good solid twist. And I just keep doing that. Just twisting, grabbing, twisting, grabbing, twisting, grabbing. All right. And I'm pressing in with my other thumb as I do this. And that gives it a more round, full twist into the material itself. So I just go through and I do this for the whole strand of wire until I get all the way to the bottom. Then you got your first set of curl. All right, so you grab that next wire that was part of that same branch and you do the same thing with that. All right, so you just grab that end, just right down at the tip of it. Give it a good solid twist until that end touches the inside of the wire itself. And then you just take the flat end of your needle nose and you flatten it down. And then you go through grabbing just under the little loop that you made, and you give it another loop. And you just keep wrapping it around the needle nose, twisting as you go, pressing in with your other thumb as you go. It gives it much more of a rounded curve. And you just go through and do that all the way down. And you can do these loops as big as you want or as small as you want, as small as you can with the tool given. I try to do these as small as I can, just because it gives it a more tight look to it. So, yeah, I'm just basically going through and twisting using the tool itself, just grabbing that wire and then just rolling it over the rounded part of the needle nose. And I just go through and do that all the way down. And sometimes you're going to fold it over. It's not going to make a round, a perfect round or twist in it, curl in it. And that's okay because you're going to be pressing all these in. So now you got 2 of these strands already done. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the rest of this little bundle so I can show you how I actually do the tightening of the bundle to, give those little tufts of canopy there. So I'm going to skip ahead and show you what that looks like. I just finished doing my first little branch here. So now you have all these loose curled ends here. And I use the tool to get that effect by doing the little twisting, grabbing and twisting, grabbing and twisting. Now some people actually take a drill, connect into a drill bit, and drill that into a spiral. I think it looks machine doing that way. I don't like the look of it. So I like to do the hand curling itself on this wire. All right, so now once you got those bundles all curled, that little bundle all curled, this is where you're going to want to make your little bundle look tight and neat, and however you want to make it. Some people leave it loose and do whatever and shape it that way, but I like to actually bundle them into a tight, neat little bundle. And the way I do that is I fold all these together, which is already kind of in a bundle. And the way I do that is I will grab all of these between my fingers. Okay, I'm using my forefinger, middle finger, and thumb to grab one side of these. And I try to get as much between my fingers as I can because this is what's going to make it so it's all becoming uniform. All right, and I grab them all, and I do the same over on this side. I grab them between those 3 fingers, and I try to make sure I got all sides of it grabbed. And now what I do is I just start squeezing them in, pressing them into each other, giving it some bends back and forth, both directions, little twists. So I'm twisting it back and forth, and then and just kind of smashing it down as I go, pressing it in. All right, so that when you're done doing that, you get this nice little tight bundle, and you can shape that and, you know, make it look how you'd like to do it. But see, so then you got your first little bundle here. That's the first branch that I did. It's actually upside down, so that would be the first one coming off. And then I go through and I just go back and forth and do each one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple more, and I'm gonna show you how I kind of put them together so it's taking some of the space that is in there and filling it up. So there's our first branch. If you're following along, you just created your first branch. You just press it in, squeeze it, get, you know, all around it and squeeze it all at once, and then just give it some little twists and stuff. Sometimes they'll start poking up and popping out. You can use a tool to fix that. And the way I would do that is I would find that loose strand, I would press it back into the bundle, and I'd grab with the tool, I'd grab that wire, the one that was popping out, and I would just kind of pull it out away from this while pressing in with your fingers. And what that does is it causes that little curve and presses it back into the bundle and keeps it there. And it takes a little practice, a little messing around and maneuvering to get that. It's trial and error. These wires are finicky at best and, you know, shaping. So it just takes a little trial and error and, you know, a little practice, and you'll get it down. But let me go ahead and do a couple more here, and I will show you how to kind of fill those gaps and then shape the branches around those bundles. So once you start getting a few of these bundles made, you're going to want to start thinking about, you know, how you're going to place them as you continue around this, you know, give it the personal touch that you like. So I like to get these close and fill a lot of these gaps. So I think this one was a little bit too high. So basically what I do with that is I'll just grab that bundle, make sure it's a good tight grab on that, and I'll just kind of pull all the wire it's attached to down a little bit to the shape I'd like. So I'm going to turn this back towards me. And for me, it's a little bit too far in that direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pliers here, and I'm going to grab this main branch to that particular bundle right there, and I'm going to twist it in that direction to get it a little bit where I want it to be. So I got it down further by pulling it down and then twisting, grabbing that branch and just pulling it to get it to where I want. So now mine is starting to look a little bit like this. Hopefully yours is too. You're going to be going back and forth making sure these are tight, because they're going to come loose and do all kinds of things. Mine isn't perfection right now, at least in my eyes, but the whole process is just, it's consistently getting yourself, you know, in a rhythm that you're going to, you know, find placements and get the curling. Now, the curling of the wire itself is a very time consuming project. It does take a lot of time to do that. So give yourself enough time. Don't expect this to happen, you know, within an hour. You know, an hour could be a couple branches on this tree. It really depends on, you know, how comfortable you get with it and how smoothly you start to flow with it. And it's a time consuming project. So I actually have to go to work, but when I get back, I'm going to finish this tree and I'm going to show you some more of the processes I'm going as it fills up, and we will go from there. We are getting much closer to this bad boy right here. We are almost getting to having ourselves a wall hanger wire wrap tree. It's taking shape. It will start to look like that. You should be proud of yourself. You've done a good job, I'm sure. If you've followed along, just have fun with it. I mean, it's just twisting wire. It's just, you know, curling the wire and then bundling it all together and just being artistic with it. So I'm going to go get myself into work. I'll come back and finish this, and I'll show you what I've come up with. How's it going, everybody? Alright, so I'm here. I'm curling my very last piece of wire at the top. I've gone through and did all the curling of each individual wire, bundled each little individual group into a little tuft of canopy there, the foliage for it. And as you get down to finishing the last of your wires, it does get a little bit more difficult to get in here, and for me it's even more awkward doing it on the camera. But anyway, I get all those finished up there, and I want to squeeze those together just like I showed you before. You just grab them all from all which directions, and you grab them together and just start squeezing and kind of maneuvering it back and forth and twisting it until you get yourself a little knot up here. So anyway, I just finished mine. Well, I finished the curling aspect of it. The last step I like to do when I'm doing these trees is when you get done, you have all that branch work that you did originally before you started curling all these ribbons. Now that's going to give it some more depth. So what I like to do is, like, I'll use this one as an example up here. You can see that there's multiple branches that are kind of hanging off of there. You can give that some artistic touch, and the way I do that is I'll grab that bundle of wire. Stick my knee up here. I'll grab that bundle of wire here just to kind of hold it in place. I don't want it to bend or move, because when you start grabbing these wires and twisting and pulling on them, it's going to pull all that bundle apart. So what I like to do is I'll go and grab each little branch here and kind of give it a little pull and twist and kind of shape it to give it a little bit of depth, something that you can see as part of your decoration. Kind of like what you did with the root structure on the bottom. You're just going through and giving it shape. So I'll go through and I'll do that to each individual one here, because it adds to the depth, it adds to the visual aspects of it. I'm going to turn mine around so I can see it a little better. And it just kind of gives it a nice feel, more realistic feel, that you got, actual branch work, and it's not just a twist of wires. Given that's what it is, it's just a twist of wires. But yeah, so I just kind of look over my finished project here. I go through and I, check each bundle, make sure they're tight, make sure they're right where I want them to be, and then I kind of go through and shape the branching. So that's your final product, your final artistic, personal touch to a wire tree wall hanger. So this was what we were trying to replicate. I didn't plan this one out so much as I did this one. That's why I said I like to count the wires and get them into particular groups before I start doing this, so I know exactly what I'm looking at when I'm done. So this doesn't look quite as full. I have a lot of the bundles up here. I didn't count the wires, so it didn't have the placement that I did on this one to give it more of that full look. But this is still an absolutely gorgeous tree. I'm sure yours is all absolutely gorgeous trees also. So remember, I mean, it's a fun process, it's a therapeutic process, and I enjoy doing it. And you have, your final project is something worth being proud over. I mean, it does take a long time to do this. It's taken hours to get these together, and especially putting the videos together, it's taken even greater time. The recording and prepping for everything, and then also doing the video editing for you guys. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is the original we are going for. This is the one that I showed you the process of making. So it does have its little hanger on there. I gave that one the hanger, just the regular suede thong. And I'll probably go and sell that one for about $60. And, you know, that's just my own personal take. And anyway, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button and show me that you've enjoyed this. I see that people watch the videos and everything, but those likes actually get me excited. That's the kind of thing that, you know, I'm looking forward to. You know, make sure that what I'm doing is enjoyable to everybody else. You know, and don't forget to hit the comment box and drop something below, and, you know, let me know what you think, and if you have any tips or suggestions or, you know, ideas that you'd like to share, or, you know, even questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask, and, you know, share whatever you'd like to share. I'm here to read that, and that's what I look forward to, is those comments. You know, and I do have a lot of other adventures out there. I do a lot of hiking and camping and traveling and stuff like that. So you can definitely browse through my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and keep up. I'll have some more tutorials coming up. I'll probably do something like this in my next tutorial. A little stand-free bonsai tree. And I don't know when I'll put this together. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this rock here. And this, I think, is another piece of petrified wood. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches tall. It's got a lot of structure to it. So I think maybe in my next tutorial videos, whenever I get around to making those ones for you guys, I'll do a standalone bonsai tree. But for now, this is what we've got. This is what you've accomplished if you followed along. And I hope to see you in the next videos. Anyway, you guys take care, and we will talk soon.